Welcome back to Science Made Simple. I'm Dr. Boyd, the chemist. I've received a comment stating that cohesion is not demonstrated in my post titled Cohesion, the Running Water Experiment. I've also gotten a question asking, is adhesion also demonstrated in that video? So I thought I'd take some time to respond to those comments. First things first, cohesion is definitely demonstrated in that post. So the comments claiming that cohesion is not demonstrated there are incorrect, and I'll explain why in a moment. But just to recap, in the original post, I did define adhesion as well as cohesion. Check it out. Adhesion is the attraction between different substances, while cohesion is the attraction of a substance for itself. The cohesion being demonstrated has to do with water molecules connecting with other water molecules, thus creating a path for water to travel all the way down the string into the cup. I think the confusion comes because folks see the water traveling down the string, knowing that water and string are different substances, and thus it must be adhesion because the definition of adhesion is when two different substances like water and string are attracted to one another. But pay close attention here, because in the original post at the 1 minute and 35 second mark and again at the 4 minute and 33 second mark, I pointed out that this will not work unless the string first is wet with water. Now pay close attention because this is very important. You'll need to wet your string with water. Now, keep in mind, this will work pretty well if the string is dampened. So, I wet the string up. That is because water will not readily flow down the string if the string is dry. If it did, then this would be an explicit demonstration of adhesion, as the commenters suggest. But what is actually happening is the water that is being used to wet the string are the same water molecules that are being used to connect with the water that's being poured down at the top of the string, thus creating a path where water is connecting with water all the way down the string. That, my friends, is cohesion, not adhesion. You need the connection of water to make it work. That is cohesion. Now, you can actually see this at the 4 minute and 55 second mark of the first video. I actually forgot to wet the string at first, which is largely why it was hard for me to get the water to flow all the way down the string at first, as you may recall from that post. I then dampened the string, but I didn't dampen all of it. Just the last few inches are still dry. You can see that in the video here. But the reason I didn't dampen that portion is because I already had the string set up the way I wanted it, and I didn't want to risk ruining the setup. So what I did was I took the string, balled it up, put it in the cup, and wet all the string that could fit in the cup. But the string that was still hanging out of the cup, because it was tacked to the fence, did not get wet. And you can see very clearly that the water does not run the full length of the string all the way to the fence at the back of the cup. So this also indicates, again, water will not run down the string if it's not already wet, which means that in order for this to work, water molecules have to touch other water molecules, which again is cohesion, not adhesion. So ultimately what I ended up with was water traveling most of the way down the string and getting far enough to get into the cup, but then just dripping off at this point here. So adhesion alone will not allow or cause the water to travel all the way down the string. Now, to be clear and to be fair, the commenters are correct in asserting that adhesion is demonstrated, and I did not highlight that in the original post, and I should have. Because the water does in fact dampen the string, that means that water and the string have an attraction for one another. And because they are different substances, that is an indication of adhesion and not cohesion. The commenters are in fact correct that adhesion is demonstrated as well as cohesion, the part that they missed. There is a third factor at play, and that is gravity. And I did give a glancing reference to that in the original post. Check it out. You'll want to pour slowly because if you pour too fast, gravity will take over and cause the water to spill. So the process of running water down the string depends on adhesion, because the water and the string must be attracted to one another to dampen the string. 2, it depends on gravity. That is because gravity is acting on the water to cause it to go downward and down the string. And it definitely depends on cohesion, which is the combining of water molecules with one another to create a path to travel along the surface of the string. I hope this explanation clears up the science being demonstrated in the video, and I hope you check out more of my content.